Baby boomers probably never thought much of him. A skinny, short, black man whose music is kind of loud and strange. And many others never even heard about him. Well, you can't blame them. How can you know someone who doesn't even have a name that you can call them by? But for those of us inspired by his great talent and music, we are saddened by the loss of this passionate, talented, and one-of-a-kind artist. Of course, we're talking about the Prince. Have you ever wondered why someone without a privileged background would call himself Prince? Why someone at the peak of his career would call himself a slave? Who gave up his name when his name was iconic throughout the world? As a tribute to a great artist, I want to tell you about him through these 10 questions. Believe me, it is a video you don't want to miss. What is his real name? Well, his real name is actually Prince. He was named after his father's stage name, Prince Rogers. Although people used to call him Skippy when he was young, of course he was also once this symbol you can't pronounce. Why did he change his name to this? Between 1993 to 2000, he had a contract dispute with Warner Brothers. In 1992, Prince signed a record-breaking 6-album deal for $100 million. But a clause in the contract gave Warner Brothers ownership of all master recordings on Prince's music. Because Prince was cranking new songs out faster than even the mystery decoder in videos, Warner Brothers wanted to limit the release so Prince's songs don't flood the market. So, to protest, Prince changed his name and refused to tour in the USA. And he gave his songs to other artists and started a new recording label. Prince felt his contract with Warner Brothers is no longer valid once he is no longer Prince. Who is Prince? Basically, the most trouble you can buy for $100 million. Before Prince released his final Warner album in 1997, he included songs like 12 CDs for $1, Makes Me Wanna Holla, and Chaos and Disorder, and a song called 1-800-NEW-FUNK to promote his internet store. No wonder some of the albums sold so poorly. So he could distance himself from Warner Brothers, he started New Power Generation as his new record label. In 1995, he put $2 million of his own money and released The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, sang by his Puerto Rican choreographer, Maite Janelle Garcia, who later became his wife. The song became an international hit and was Prince's first single to reach #1 in the UK. This proved Prince's songwriting talent and also his innovative legal skills. Why was he so talented in music? Prince's father was a pianist and songwriter, and his mother was a jazz singer. His father performed with a jazz group called the Prince Rogers Trio, and he could play many instruments. Thanks to his father's encouragement, Prince wrote his first tune, Funk Machine, when he was only 7. And by age 18, he was signed by Warner Brothers. And at age 21, he got his first platinum. But unlike most rock stars who rise and sink at the speed of light, he continued to mass produce songs, hits, and ideas for people who want to deny that music can run through the bloodline. Tyka Nelson, Prince's only sister, released 3 albums in 1988, 1992, and 2008, and ratcheted up to 33rd place in the charts in 1988. What made him so famous? Prince created the Minneapolis sound by blending pop, soul, funk, R&B, jazz, and rock. He had 11 #1 hits on the U.S. Billboard charts and 22 top 10 songs. Many of his songs are fused with sacred symbols and sexuality. Actually, Darling Nikki was the reason why we have voluntary album labels today. Many people, including myself, was surprised to know that he was married and had kids, partly because of his heavy makeup and high heels. Prince was known to have hundreds of unreleased songs under his own name or under different aliases. He also wrote many songs for other artists who in many cases have become blockbusters, such as Manic Monday for the Bangles and Nothing Compares to You, monster hit with Sinead O'Connor. Prince won himself an Oscar in 1984 for Best Original Music for the film Purple Rain. In 2007, he won a Golden Globe for Best Original Song, the Song of the Heart, which is featured in the film Happy Feet. Most people know about him being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. But few people know that he was part of the first few pioneer musicians to sell music on the internet. The pioneer music to fight for artist rights, and the first to really fight on music piracy. Prince was truly one of a kind. How much is his net worth? Most estimates put it at around $300 million now, but it's projected to grow to $450 to $500 million in the next few years. So, who will inherit Prince's fortune? Since Prince left no will, his sister Tyka Nelson would be the closest relative, and she has already filed with the probate court. Actually, Prince also has 3 half-brothers, John Nelson, Alfred Jackson, and Omar Baker, and 2 half-sisters, Noreen Nelson and Sharon Nelson. There is also a rumor about several of his illegitimate children. Who was closest to him? His sister may be the closest to him in blood, but there was no report of them being close. Actually, around 1980, she had drug addiction, and although it was Prince that came to her rescue, she said, "I was a single mother, and my boys were babies. I sold my body for food, money, and Pampers." Tyka is 2 years younger than Prince, and Prince was 18 when he was signed by Warner Brothers. I have to assume Prince and Tyka were not very close, so Tyka having to do the extreme to get food. But things can change later in life. But I can't find any report about them being close. In fact, Prince probably didn't have anyone so close to him. so he decided to leave no will. Does he have any children? Prince's only son, by Maida Garcia, Boy Gregory Nelson, had Pfeiffer syndrome and lived only 1 week in 1996. Several people claim to be Prince's children, including Carlin Q. Williams, born in 1976, and possibly singer Jordan Nelson, aka Capricio Caesar. Rumors said he is the son of Prince's former dancer, Cat Glover. From the picture, you can see some trace of that theory. But there is also a rumor about Prince's secret daughter, raised by his cousin. Although Prince was cremated, his blood sample was kept for these DNA test requests. Either way, I guess the truth will be out soon. How did he die? The official records state an overdose from a prescription drug called fentanyl caused the death of Prince. But rumors have been going around about him dying from AIDS, which may be supported by his 80-pound weight and flu symptoms 2 weeks before his death. Prince is known for living a drug-free life. Why does he need to take painkillers? What kind of chronic illness did he have? Minnesota law does not allow public access to autopsy records, so we may never know about the full details. But I'm glad for that. Prince was a very private person, and we should respect that. Did you know he refused to stay in a hospital when he was rushed there 2 weeks before his death because there was no single room available? We may not know how he got the prescription drugs, but I am sure he was in a lot of pain when he took them. Who is Prince? He was an American singer, a songwriter, and a multi-instrumentalist, record producer, and an actor. He was a musical innovator and known for his eclectic work, flamboyant stage presence, extravagant dress and makeup, and a wide vocal range. He sold over 100 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling artists of all time. He won 7 Grammy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and an Oscar. Rolling Stone ranked Prince at number 27 on its list of 100 greatest artists, the most influential artists of the rock and roll era. Rest in peace, dear Prince. This is Ken Peters at MysteryDecoders.com. Thank you for watching.